You know, the more I think about this and realize what's going on, I must be the complete fool here, and this is continued on and been going through our history for a long time, and I'm in big trouble. And I saw things correctly when I was floating pretty good. Scary, yet a strong reality in the layering and the movement that was taking place. That probably still is. It's undercover, or that has been taken on before and it's always failed. And a lot of people that are very powerful have been pushed around or pushed over or hushed up or quieted up. I'm more than happy to be quiet and to keep my mouth shut and to live a normal life if I was subjected to have a normal life and my surround be normal and not have things constantly coming at me that are reality in my life. My feet are getting chomped on. You think I like believing I'm not going to fall for I'm going to be the one and only to be with this beautiful girl, young lady that comes back and is my soulmate and wants to be with me, and I'm this special person that was put here on earth that can do all these magical, or revelations, and therefore the red carpet's going to be pulled out for me, and I'm just supposed to sit back and take whatever comes in my way, or I'm going to bring back everybody that has disappeared, come up missing in the last 10, 12, 15 years since this thing has started, that I've been followed around, and everything's going to be okay. It hurts in a parallel to be bit on the foot, to hear noises through the stereo. I don't want to look at things that don't look nice to be looked at, and push something that if I say it in Latin and it's the wrong word, that I'm coming across and that I'm satanic, and that SWAT takes me out because they found their man, that he turned against him, and he's semi-sepulchral, which means he's in laying a rattlesnake inside his body, but yet 92% or whatever the amount may be. I just threw that off the top of my head. And it's how you get by and move around on this world, on this earth, because if you don't have a little something in you like that, you get walked on. I don't know your parables and your positives or possibilities. All I know is my reality, and I'm whining and I'm sounding, scared. I am scared. I don't want this in my life, and I don't want to be executed or terminated or vanquished, come up assassinated because of a world that is surrounding me. I'm not the one playing the games here. I'm a human being. My name is Anthony John Venata. In this process, I wonder who I am, and I've been following some of the pictures that inlay on top of me, and I have a feeling they were part of the 10, a secret SWAT group or military police that saw the things that happened in Kalinga, fire that I was told, some of the things that happened in the shootings and the disappearing and the missing persons, and the process that this has been going, and the accusations or the things that I came up with that I shared as witness that I saw and that I felt were accurate and were reality, and that were concerned for matter of national security, even worldwide security. I am not the person to take this on. I mean, I don't care. I do care, but I don't care. I want a normal life. I want things to be normal. I don't want to look behind my back or look around or be arrested by some secret Satan squad, police force, or a group of individuals that in reality worship Satan or have a fellowship with them and pretend they're on a white and clean firm, and that everything is on truth and on an uppity up, and they're deep down underneath, digging deep into the soil and digging up the dead and breeding rattlesnakes. I'm not trying to sound. I'm trying to have somewhat of a sense of humor here. Yes, they didn't have one pop out in physical form yet and stare at me in my face all the way. I've caught a couple glances with a quick flickering, and they're able to grab a hold of my feet or my flesh strong enough that I could feel pinching and a biting. Am I the one that's supposed to sit back here and think I'm going to be the one and only person that gets this chance to this beautiful? Do I believe in it? I believe there's a message there. If there's people coming back from the dead, if there's things like that going on, there's a message there. That I believe there's a connection. That the Bible does have conflicting evidence on how God gives wrath and these things and that thing, where there's like God can be deciphered and deciphered. It could be taken into consideration and determined with different definitions and outcomes. That he has kind of an evil side. You can wonder if he's being a Satan at some points in time in the Bible, and who he is distinguishing, if he's the Lord and who the Lord is, or should they call Jesus the Lord, or should Jesus be just called Jesus, or should Jesus be called Jesus Christ? Is there something more to the Christ? I mean, should you end your prayer in Jesus, Jesus Christ, or Lord Jesus Christ? That is the question. And where I'm going with this, the whole Star Wars, the whole thing, Jedi Knight and let the Force be with you, and all this stuff. There's a grim reality, and the lure of the Nazi in California, the true Nazi. It comes back from World War II. It's been a rumor since I first tried anything back when I got out of high school. When I left Redding from a boys' ranch I was in. That I grew up, I did like a year and a half in, because my mom, long story, I went to go live with my dad, I got in trouble, and my mom didn't want to deal with me, and she had a new husband that was my stepdad, who was a Wheatland police officer. They didn't want to really deal with me, and I was smoking pot and sneaking out of windows at night and stuff. Long story. Where I'm going with this is that yet I know that there's reality that part of this white law firm, there's a lot of the white law firm that is on my side, and the extreme that is completely on my side, but there's a strong facet that they've had my number. Maybe if there was reality to this, what's going on right now, they've seen signs of this since I was young, and they burnt me out, and I had some kind of cover unknowingly all my life, until they used me up for a lick and stole my wives from me and beat me up over my girlfriends, and then threw a jacket on me and thought of strategically ways to put crime on me and to make me feel out of place and lose grip of reality and not be able to calm down and be excited and to walk into some crimes, ones that were even exaggerated, even told, even as far as a complete lie in a police report, to being back down to not knowing what's going on and not knowing if you should go to jury trial, because the whole thing was confusing, but you knew something was wrong. And then yet something almost helped you get into the military when you got a piece of paper signed by the captain of the Yuba City Police Department. Never got a felony or been arrested or cited ever in this city ever. That was the first place in my life that I received a felony. And I had that piece of paper at the time that I got sent to Kalinga, or I should say Solano, then to Kalinga, for indecent exposure, when the girl asked me to come over and drink tequila with her and her boyfriend. It's a long story. It's one of those Jedi mind tricks. They were playing games with me, walking me in a situation, and I was learning to follow vibes, because I realized everywhere I went I was getting called a lame and backed around the corner, where people were inside a parallel, a horizon, making fun of me and laughing at me and walking on me, to where I had to start digging deeper inside myself and think, okay, I was burned out, man. I was a burned out person. I started paying attention, thought, okay, I'll follow vibes. What did that give me? That got me in worse trouble, to start following vibes like that. I started following vibes, and they got me into worse trouble. They've saved me at the same time. They're saving me now. I just know that I am not the one to take this whole thing on. I've given you my opinion, and bared witness, as giving you witness. I need some form of protection. I need a umbrella over me at this point in time. Maybe I have, quote, quote, seven dust, some kind of skill that somebody, God, Jesus, because I pray, not all the time, but I have at close times of death, September 7th, 2004, and in December 25th on 2008 in Rideout Hospital. The other one on September 7th, it's Sutter Hospital in Sacramento. The other one, Rideout in Marysville. There's been a lot more close encounters from being dismantled to these vacuum vibes that these people can put on you, shadows of doom or death or assassins of the shadow. I'm having difficulties at this point in time going on with this, that I'm supposed to sit back and make believe that this whole thing is going to be okay, that I'm supposed to resurrect the dead, and they can go ahead and bite on me, and I got to not sleep good at night because I get dogpiled by them, or I'm supposed to push a vibe where they fall and lick me up and everything's okay. I'm not clinically insane, even though I get Social Security for being schizophrenic and bipolar, because I also included in my report that Dianne Feinstein had a hard-on to push me around and that she had some kind of form of connection. So they gave it to me. I am unable to work because people follow me around when I went to go to work selling furniture, because I have a record. Every time I land to do something, they mow me over with a tidal wave of unexpected pleasures. I am not in a good mood. I don't feel that if Hayden is the guardian between the gates of heaven and hell, that I'm supposed to sit back and wait till I'm wasted, wilted, and pushed away. If I do have some secret skills and gifts, or a gift, I'm asking to be left alone. I don't want to be the person assassinated in the book of CIA or miscellaneous across the world because I got pushy with my weight or started mouthing off like I'm doing right now. I don't want to be in the middle of this. If I am worth anything at all, period, can I have the shelter in the cover of an umbrella and put it into the maddening and the chaotic games? No dangerous stealth, murder, kill, violence, missing persons, destruction to law and corruption, no standing in justice. It has, at this point in time, came through. I am having a shine to this. But, there's no buts. They will come around the corner and wash me out in a quick draw without me knowing, and my head will spin. I'll be burnt out. They've switched me on the meth. They kept me on a happy medium, even though I had true sight and vision that I saw something I did not like in the layering of of the world's system of an inlane of a city on top of us and in our atmosphere and in our wall, our inner and fear, that they have problems there too, that heaven on earth is not as nice and particularly spick and span and everything's so beautiful there. They have their problems there. They're being stormed and barred with the same thing, the fat attack. They have to rule it on the earth, and then they do in heaven, and they spread it down, and yet they push a vibe that I was supposed to be the soldier to help rescue everybody too. I am not crazy. I know some of these things have reality to it. I'm leaving this alone. Whoever is a secret club out there, or crew, or sect, or people that have been around since the beginning of time that are on my side, I'm asking you, this is serious. I don't want to go down like that. I don't want to come assassinated. I don't want to be in the book of history where something went wrong or made an example out of. I want a clean way out of this. I want some protection and shelter and an umbrella, if at all possible. And I'm calling upon you. I'm asking on a sincere level. I can walk away and just be happy. All I want is a significant other with some responsibility, to where I have a place, being a house. This place could be owned because it was abandoned and we don't have a lease. And there's been a lot of weirdo things going on here at 536 West Sacramento Glide. Furthermore, I need the retreat to feel like in this world there is not just always a dark spot or shadow. I know there is light. I know there is love. And love probably created the universe. I know it did. And created life and living. And therefore love will save the world. Now with that, I have to share, not trying to be cocky or be disrespectful or come off out of place or out of bounds, but I truthfully need some form of umbrella and protection, and I need the law that is backing me, or the justice, to stand strong to completely, because they will come back and wash me out with some tidal wave and some big excuse, or blame me for their aftermath or their missing persons since this whole thing is begun or has continued for as long as the government can think of. I do not have the answer to those questions or the statistics. I am not the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the ATF or the DEA or the Department of Justice. All I'm asking for is I want a clean way out of this, and if there is something special in the air or connected, I don't need to know about it, and it will go through on a natural force, but no buts. They're going to run me in the ground and make me think a bunch of weird stuff, and I'm going to get all these special privileges and help, and then wash me out, burn me out. They already let me get switched on something that kept me on a happy medium when I have murk and asbestos in my nervous system and in my brain and in my lungs. As so to speak, I know they run a magnet over me to show me how much stuff I have in my lungs, because I could hardly breathe. You can feel it go to pop out, and you can feel it in my head when they put a magnet on my head. I don't know. These guys, these people that live in this layering have some high-tech stuff. There's some true, if you want to call it the Nazi era, there's some true Nazi people in there that are on my side completely, that use high-tech stuff to look at me and examine me and do things, weird ticking things to save my life and get me through. And there's another side that likes to salt and pepper me. So I'm in a constant teeter-totter, and I don't appreciate it. There's nothing I can do about it. And maybe some of you are in the same position, and you do all you can. All I can ask for is that you eliminate the games. I'd like to be out of the way of harm, and I'd like an umbrella of protection, and not the weirdo things going on to where I'm supposed to live in a tomb with things coming back, chewing on my feet or my body, or licking me when I go to sleep. I'd like to be able to rest like a normal human being and not have fright night. Or I'd like to be able to know that I have a significant other. Tina Ferrero is multiples at being a twin, and they switch. They were on a good path until, if I followed correctly, a white firm got on top, which is a thin, and they took control over her mind state, headgear, emotions, body language, and tick her, and also put her on a type of burn, or, excuse me, she has the correct real meth, because I've been in her room the last couple of days at night, except for tonight, and I've taken a few drags, and it was the proper stuff. The stuff I get, they have a game. The surround that I have, they think there's numbers in the sky that only a certain amount of people are allowed to deserve things or receive certain things. And then when they take your spot, or someone stands and says, me, 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 I showed up and he didn't, then they have to feed them or fuel them or whatever. The only thing I'm seeing in this is supposed to pull the stuff out of my stem cells, float it to the top of the brain, down the throat, down the intestines, and out my body, and keep me living without my nervous system shutting down or my lungs stopping on me. That's where I'm coming from. And I do believe there's strong reality to it, because my head bangs when I go to sleep, and I wake up, it throbs, it hurts. I can feel when they run a magnet over my lungs. There's a lot of things that I think they are honest with me at, and I have to pay attention to continuously. Did I follow the right vibe? Because I'm walking in between the raindrops. I have to be able to think. They told me, don't lose my mind, don't lose my head, because then something can happen to you. There's reality to this. I'm gonna leave this alone. But to whatever secret sect, I need an umbrella. I want a clean way out of this. I'd love to have a significant other. There's women out there, there's girls out there that would be with me if I had some form of protection, someone that stood strong for me and washed away the games, eliminated the chaotic disasters, the dangerous appeal, and the